Welcome to the Positive Change Methods podcast with me, Andy Smith. Each episode will bring you tips, practical change formats, and new perspectives to make your life and work better right now, drawn from Appreciative Inquiry and related approaches. This episode is brought to you by the Practical Appreciative Inquiry Facilitator Training. Let me show you how to get started using Appreciative Inquiry confidently with teams and small groups. The next live online course starts soon. You can find the details and how to book your place at coachingleaders.co.uk. Okay, let's get started. Episode 14. How to get a problem-focused team to accept Appreciative Inquiry. The problem to possibility tree. Here's an issue that anyone working with positive change methods is going to face, especially working in a business context. How do we shift people away from their habitual problem focus? The problem with problem solving. We know that to find creative ways to solve problems, to work together effectively, and to be open to the new ideas that we need, we have to activate our empathic network. Remember, this is the neurological network associated with empathy, openness to new ideas, and creativity. But we also know that because of the brain's inbuilt negative bias, we pay more attention to problems and negatives than we do to opportunities and positive aspects. So when faced with a problem, we usually look for the causes of problems and who's to blame. And this activates the analytic network, which is great for hitting deadlines and executing defined steps, but terrible for trust, working relationships, openness, and creativity. Consequently, any attempt to get people to look beyond the boundaries of the problem, as we do with Appreciative Inquiry, may face objections like, "You can't just ignore problems," or "You're wanting us to look through rose-colored spectacles and pretend the problems don't exist." We know that we're just trying to redress the balance and get people to look at the strengths, resources, and possibilities that they've been ignoring, even though those resources are what they need to get them out of the problem. But if people are already in analytic mode, as they usually are in business, they're not going to be open to that idea without a lot of skilled reframing, or ideally pre-framing, to get them to give appreciative methods a chance. An elegant solution, the problem to possibility tree exercise. Here's a great exercise that I found tucked away in a PDF mostly written by Mac Odell on the Center for Appreciative Inquiry website. It's called the Problem to Possibility Tree or Problem to Opportunity exercise. The beauty of this exercise is that you don't have to be familiar with Appreciative Inquiry to use it. In fact, you could use it as part of a problem-solving session or team meeting considering a particular issue, whatever approach you're using. If you're using a different method from Appreciative Inquiry, you could leave out the final step of defining an affirmative or generative topic. Here's what you do. Use two flip charts side by side. Draw a problem tree on one. 1. Ask, what is the problem? And when you get agreement, write it on the trunk of the tree. For example, lack of communication. 2. Ask, what's feeding this lack of communication tree? What are the roots? Write the suggestions on the roots. 3. Ask, if that's what we're feeding the tree, what will it bear? i.e., what will be the results of the problem? Write those on the leaves. 4. Draw a second tree and ask, what is the positive opposite of the problem? Write that on the trunk of the tree, in this case, strong communication. 5. Ask, what will be the best nutrients for the tree? Draw them on the roots. 6. What will be the results of strong communication? Draw them as leaves. Now they've moved from analyzing the problem to the causes of success and the possibilities it will generate. If we're not sure exactly how to characterize the overall problem yet, you could start by writing up all the symptoms and smaller problems that you see on the leaves of the tree. Write the factors contributing to those problems on the roots, and then decide what the overall problem is that you can write on the trunk of the tree. If you want to strengthen the team's motivation for tackling the problem now, rather than adding it to the list of things they intend to do later, you could ask them to add the future consequences of the problem and the consequences of the solution as fruits on the respective trees. To use this exercise to firm up an affirmative topic for an appreciative inquiry process, you can add a final step by asking, looking at the leaves on the possibility tree, how should we word the affirmative topic that will generate enthusiasm, energy, and life for our inquiry? And of course, you could also use this exercise yourself to build motivation and explore solutions for challenges in your own life. In the next episode, we'll move on to the next stage in the 5D cycle, the discovery stage, kicking off with what you need to do before you plan any change. Thanks for listening to the Positive Change Methods podcast with me, Andy Smith. You can find the show notes at positivechangemethods.com. Please like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you like this episode, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you can review it. See you next time.